This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
Right now, Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill is out of jail following her arrest.
Hill took advantage of one of the community's most vulnerable citizens.
Ahead, the punishment she faces if convicted and what would happen if Governor Ron DeSantis removes her from office.
Plus, Orlando police have made an arrest in a deadly shooting outside the Central Florida Fairgrounds. The charges a teenager is facing this morning.
And this United Launch Alliance rocket is still on the launch pad this morning, coming up the issues that scrubbed its final liftoff. 5 o'clock on this finally Friday, March 29th. We're almost done with March. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kirsten Delgado.
And I'm Alexa Lorenzo. Thank you for being with us on this Good Friday. We get you going with certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimi tracking that Easter weekend for us.
Yeah, you know, and as we start off the day today, we've got some cooler temperatures, but as we head into the weekend, we're going to warm up nicely. So outside right now, Orlando, 59 degrees. There's a lot of 50s outside for us. We're still holding on to those low 60s down closer towards Kissimmee, but it's 55 in DeLand, 59 in the Villages, 52 degrees this morning in Ocala. This is close to 15 degrees cooler than yesterday, so it's somewhat of a refreshing start to the day. Nothing so cold that you'll need the jacket, but as we head through the afternoon, just look for a gorgeous day. We've got clear skies, no rain, no clouds for us early this morning. That will continue to be the case as we head through the afternoon, and really as we continue through this weekend. High pressure is going to do a really good job of keeping a lot of the clouds at bay for us, and it's going to keep our skies dry. So through the afternoon, sunny conditions. We've got the low 70s in place by noon, and then headed into the mid 70s as we get you later into the afternoon. And that's where a lot of us will peak. We do have 80s though for the holiday weekend, and then next week it gets even hotter. I'll take you through those numbers coming up. 5:01 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We start this morning with some slowdowns on I-95. This is southbound right by LPGA Boulevard. You can see crews working a crash involving an overturned semi. We have just one lane of traffic squeezing by, so this will start to slow down even more as more people get on the highway later this morning, so a heads up. Then we take it to Edgewater right near I-4. This is right at Alba Drive. We're not seeing any lanes closed through here, but crews are working a crash. Then checking in on US 192, we have a wreck right near Siesta Lago Drive. Make sure you're taking it easy as you drive on through.
This morning, Channel 9 continues to follow a major developing story here in Orlando. Commissioner Regina Hill is facing criminal charges, and this is video of her leaving the Orange County Jail after her arrest yesterday morning. Eyewitness News was the first to tell you about FDLE's claims that Hill took advantage of a 96-year-old constituent and used falsified documents to buy a home and other luxuries with that victim's money. Channel 9's Sam Martell is live for us at Orlando City Hall this morning. And Sam, Hill could spend years behind bars.
Kirsten, if she loses this legal battle, she could spend the rest of her life in prison. The Orlando City Commissioner denies any wrongdoing in this case. And while Hill is out on bond, it's very likely she'll be stripped of her title as Commissioner of District 5. So, of course, we're going to continue to monitor that to see when and if that happens.
Now, Sam, if Hill was removed, the city would hold a special election to fill her seat. When could that happen?
Kirsten, the city says they're already working with the supervisor of elections to come up with a date for that special election. It could be as soon as this summer, but that all depends on when and if the governor does suspend her, and that person would serve in that role until 2026. Live in Orlando, Sam Martello, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Sam, thank you. And as soon as we learned about Hill's arrest, we sent you this breaking news alert through the WFTV News app. We'll continue to post those details there as well, so it's free to download in the Apple App Store and in Google Play.
Right now, Orlando police say a suspect in a shooting outside the Central Florida Fairgrounds has been arrested. We showed you this scene at the beginning of the month. Police say that shooting killed this woman right here. This is Veronica Ramirez. She was a teacher's aide in Lake County. Almost 4 weeks later, police announced this person right here, Jaden Maxey, is now facing charges. He's in custody. Channel 9's Q McCray joins us live at Orlando Police Headquarters this morning. And Q, that suspect is just 15 years old.
Yes, we're talking about a kid this morning. As you said, Alexa, he is just 15 years old. And if history is any indicator, he will likely be tried as an adult for this accused crime. He's currently at the Orange County Juvenile Detention Center. Now, Maxie was arrested by OPD's Fugitive Investigation Unit, the same group of officers who arrested Christopher Burke in the story we brought you first yesterday morning. Reporting live, Q McCrae, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Q, thank you. This morning, Orlando police say a man is recovering after a shooting that killed someone else. It all happened around 11 yesterday morning on Dorado Avenue between Lake Underhill and Curry Ford Roads. Police say 2 people came to a home to settle a landlord-tenant dispute. They say there was some sort of argument, and then the men were shot by the tenant. 40-year-old Angel Luis Santos died. The other man is expected to survive. Police say they're not looking for any suspects.
And this morning, the United Launch Alliance is trying to figure out when it'll actually try again to launch its Delta IV Heavy rocket.
So the company planned to launch that rocket from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Center yesterday afternoon, but it was scrubbed because of an issue with a pipeline leading to the rocket's launch system. This will be the final Delta IV Heavy launch before ULA switches to its new Vulcan rocket. We'll let you know when they reschedule that launch. So it was scrubbed for a technical issue, Cassie, but we were watching the weather really closely for it too.
Yeah, you know, surprisingly, the weather was not a concern. There was a lot of winds, a lot of clouds yesterday during that launch window, but not my problem, right? I guess for that one. But we get you outside early this morning. We have some big changes. Cooler. We're in the 50s almost for all of Central Florida. So it's a nice little refreshing start to our day. We're down 10 to 15 degrees from yesterday morning because we were out the door to upper 60s and 70s. We were also tracking some rain that was about to move into the area early yesterday morning. But we are dry now, and we're going to keep things dry for the rest of the day and really through the rest of the weekend. We're going to have a whole lot of sunshine and a very pleasant stretch of some weather. So for the outdoor workers today, expect to see very sunny skies, and really that is in and of itself the only hazard that I expect for us today. Those UV rays, so the UV index is going to be elevated for us today. Temperatures will be a little bit below average even. We're staying in the mid 70s, and I'm not expecting any rain in our morning, in our afternoon, in our evening, and even the winds, the breezy winds that we had yesterday are going to be dialed back quite a bit today out of the north-northeast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then we get warmer this weekend, which I'll have more on coming up. 5:10 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Slow go on I-95. This is southbound right at LPGA Boulevard. Crews are working a crash with a semi that's overturned. Drivers have just 1 lane of traffic open, so it is slow go. Give yourself some extra time cutting through. Then we have a new crash on Econ Trail. This is right at Curry Ford. Crews are on scene here. At this point, we're not seeing any lanes closed. No major shakeups, but make sure you're slowing down to keep those crews safe working this one. Then checking in on 192 and Siesta Lago. Make sure you're using caution here as well. At this point, you don't need an alternate route, but crews are on scene. We'll check in on the coast ahead. People who live at a Volusia County motel say they're being forced to leave.
Coming up, we're digging into renovations needed at that site to comply with city codes.
And ahead, what this ribbon cutting means for the health of downtown Orlando.
And the Biden administration has approved a multi-million-dollar request from the state of Maryland. Next, how that money will help the Port of Baltimore reopen after Tuesday's bridge collapse. It's 5:11.
Drone 9, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Getting you closer over the scene of breaking news.
Drone 9, sponsored by StrataAC.com. You ought to call Strata.
5:14 on this finally Friday. Your Good Friday forecast is coming up in just a moment with certified meteorologist Cassie Crimmy. Your traffic and weather's every 10 minutes here on Channel 9. This morning, the race to reopen the Port of Baltimore continues after Tuesday morning's bridge collapse.
The ship that hit it is still in the water this morning. The Biden administration has approved a major request from the state of Maryland to help pay for emergency work there. The Maryland Governor, Wes Moore, is stressing they need to focus on recovering the bodies of the missing construction workers so they can be reunited with their families.
New this morning, Osceola County deputies say a man accused of stealing several packages has been arrested. Polk County deputies arrested Jency Reynoso Jimenez earlier this week. Investigators say they caught him following several FedEx delivery trucks and trying to steal packages after they were delivered. Deputies say they found several expensive items while searching his car and home. They believe he's also tied to other thefts that happened in December.
Right now, we're giving you a live look over at Lake Eola Park, where an organization just raised a whole lot of money for children battling critical illnesses.
That's right. Last night, hundreds of people walked around the lake for the 17th annual Morgan and Morgan Walk for Wishes. That fundraiser helps make a wish with nearly 300 children across the country. This year's walk helped raise nearly $390,000. And this morning, Universal's revealing more about its newest theme park, Epic Universe.
I can't believe it's going to open next year already. We're getting a closer look now at the land based on How to Train Your Dragon, the movie franchise. Here's the video that shows what it could look like when you enter the Isle of Berk. There will be 3 rides, including a roller coaster and a boat ride, as well as a stage show, meet and greets, and more. Epic Universe is expected to open next summer. I remember when we first started reporting on Epic Universe, we're like, yeah, summer 2025.
We'll fly Drone 9 out there to see the progression over time.
But now it's knocking on our door. It's almost open.
Yeah, it's crazy. Is this going to put me on a list? I've never seen How to Train Your Dragons
I only
or any of that.
recently saw it like a month ago.
Really?
The first one. And even then, I was on my phone most of the time.
I mean, it must be a great movie. They've got a whole land for it. So maybe we have to have a Friday movie watch session. But we get you outside this morning. Lake Eola, 59 degrees. It is comfortable out there, my friends. We are in the mid to upper 50s really across most of the area. Kissimmee, you were our one holdout. Just a few moments ago, you were still in the 60s, but now down to 59. Low 50s, Bushnell, Ocala, Palm Coast, 50 to about 53 degrees. Very clear and dry skies this morning. We're talking rain-free, cloud-free early this morning. So once we get that sun coming up, there's going to be full sunshine and a lot of blue seen later this afternoon. And as we take you really through today and the weekend, we've got a nice stretch of weather. High pressure is moving in, and typically when you see a big H on the map, that means some pretty good weather is going to be shaping up for you. So hour by hour, as we take you through the day today, you've got a whole lot of sunshine, mid-70s headed our direction as we go through the afternoon, keeping us a little bit below average. Again, this time of year, Orlando, we should hit about 81. Daytona Beach, normal high, about 77 degrees. But we're not going to get close to that. You can see over in Daytona, just hitting those low 70s, kind of for a brief moment. And if you're headed to the beaches here on your Friday afternoon, still watching the surf height up to about 4 to 5 feet. Rip current risk still dangerous. And we'll have the low 70s for our northern beaches, mid 70s as we get a little bit further down the coastline into parts of Brevard County. And we could even have a few 60s up in parts of Flagler County. So Palm Coast, Flagler Beach, possibly even Ormond Beach. Some of those upper 60s we'll be watching today. But Claremont, the Villages, Sanford, all expected to hit 75. We'll get to 77 in the Bushnell area, which is, again, making for a perfect day. But then as we head towards the weekend, we keep the cool 50s around. We've got 80s, though, as we head towards the afternoon. Tomorrow we'll hit low 80s, mid 80s for your Easter Sunday, and keeping it dry all weekend long. And then as we head into next week, look at these numbers. That 7-day forecast, our weekend always in view. We are climbing close to 90 on Monday, hitting it on Tuesday. Then we get our next front Wednesday, our next chance for rain. That brings things right back down. By Thursday, daytime highs will settle in the mid 70s. 5:20 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Slow go on I-95. This is southbound right at LPGA Boulevard. Crews are working a crash this morning, only letting one lane of traffic move by. This wreck involves an overturned semi, so we're seeing heavy impacts through here. This is our biggest issue this morning in Volusia County. Then our live and drive is showing us the scene of a crash on Curry Ford and Econ. This is now clear. Earlier we had crews responding, blocking some lanes, but no longer seeing any issues. Then in Brevard County, no slowdowns as you get out and about. No problems in Melbourne or Titusville. Right now, a vice president at Duke Energy is inspiring women to tackle a job they might not usually consider.
There's room for us all in this industry.
New this morning, the opportunities she says are available this Women's History Month.
And next, the warning from the Better Business Bureau after a retired local teacher says contractors he hired 4 years ago never finished a project at his home. It's 5:21. A retired school teacher here in Orange County says his home renovation turned into a nightmare.
James Deshame says he started to work on an addition to his home back in 2020. It was to make his bathroom wheelchair accessible, but the project is still not done. So he's turned to Orange County's Consumer Protection Division, which discovered missing licenses. And now an Orlando police report confirms that several people are under investigation for fraud of $50,000 or more.
You know, they didn't come in with a gun, but they just as well have could, the way they stole from me.
So far, no criminal charges have been filed. The Better Business Bureau says to make sure a contractor has a license before you hire them.
We're following a major story for us in Orlando. Commissioner Regina Hill has been arrested on criminal charges.
Coming up, what a defense attorney says we can expect as this case plays out.
And the governor says a new law changes an outdated rule. The impacts he expects businesses to see by selling larger containers of wine. Cheers, Cassie.
And yeah, outside early this morning, it is cooler, it is comfortable, and we've got a great day in store. I'll be taking you hour by hour through your Friday forecast. Our time now, 5:26.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose results. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
This morning, an Orlando City Commissioner is officially facing criminal charges that could land her years in prison if convicted.
They dotted their I's and they crossed their T's before they took it to the grand jury.
How that defense attorney expects this case to unfold.
Plus, 2 people recovering after fighting a fire at this Seminole County home. Ahead, why the flames were not the only challenge they faced there.
And why the governor says a new law involving wine is a major win for businesses across the state of Florida. Good morning, and thank you for being with us on this Good Friday. I'm Alexa Lorenzo.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. Let's get a check of your weather with certified meteorologist Cassie Crummy in your weather in a minute.
And as we take you outside, the first thing you will notice is the cool down that we have. Many of us are going to be stepping out the door to temperatures that are 10 to about 15 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Look at the numbers that we have outside right now. A lot of low to mid 50s, currently 52 in Ocala, 56 in DeLand, 57 in Sanford, and about 59 degrees in Orlando. So it will be nice to start the day. As we head through the afternoon, we're just going to keep the beautiful weather going for us. A whole lot of sunshine headed your direction and temperatures slowly climbing. You can see in Orlando, we'll keep those 50s through 7. And then we've got the climb into the 70s just after lunchtime, which is where we're going to peak today. Most of us are going to hit those mid 70s later this afternoon. Then as we get you closer to the weekend, the big holiday weekend, our beautiful weather continues. We'll have cool mornings staying in the 50s, but in the afternoons, they're going to start to climb back into the 80s. And as we extend beyond that, we get further. We're even tracking some 90s for next week. I'll have details on that coming up. Our time now, 5:31. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Slow go on I-95. This is southbound right at LPGA Boulevard. Crews have been working a crash here since about 4 this morning. It involves an overturned semi with 1 lane of traffic open. We are seeing those delays really stacking up this morning. Then we have a new crash on Goldenrod and Curry Ford Road. You can see the delays building on northbound Curry Ford. So give yourself a little extra time. It's rather northbound Goldenrod this morning. Then we show you a wreck on 192. This is at Siesta Lago Drive. At this point, all lanes are still open through here. You won't need that alternate route.
Right now, we're following a developing story in Orlando where the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has arrested Commissioner Regina Hill. This is video of her appearing before a judge on those charges just yesterday.
The judge granted her a $40,000 bond, which she paid. She was released later in the afternoon. Channel 9 was the first to tell you FDLE was looking into District 5 Commissioner Regina Hill. Agents say her arrest was the culmination of a 13-month-long investigation.
And after Hill's arrest, we went to her district to get reaction from the people she serves. District 5 is a place where Hill has advocated for more jobs, education, and anti-crime initiatives. Neighbors said they feel a sense of shock, disbelief, and confusion as to why she would put her position and the growth of her community at risk.
But one thing I do know, she did grow up in the community like the rest of us, and she tried to put her best foot forward.
To know that type of crime happened in my neighborhood where we try to protect our elderly neighbors is very upsetting.
Now, most people we spoke to say they want to see the case through before condemning Hill. They also think their community can bounce back no matter what happens. Now, stay with Channel 9 and WFTV.com. We will continue to follow this developing story as the criminal case against Commissioner Hill moves forward.
Q, thank you. We'll be checking in this morning with the Orange County Sheriff's Office about a shooting that sent a woman to the hospital. Deputies were called to Old Cheney Highway near Cimarron Boulevard yesterday morning. That's where they found the woman in her 50s who had been shot. That woman is now recovering in the hospital. So far, investigators are not releasing any information about a possible suspect, but as soon as those details come to us, we'll share them with you.
Right now, 2 workers are in the hospital recovering from burns after the foam installation they were trying to get control of sparked a fire. You can see here crews battling that blaze at a home in Seminole County. That fire broke out on Lake Harney Road in Geneva yesterday. Firefighters climbed ladders to spray those hot spots and then keep them from spreading. A construction crew was working inside that home when the fire started.
So the house is currently being renovated. There's no floors on the second floor, so it's just trusses that were running on the second floor, so there's no plywood or anything to stand on.
Rescue crews were able to reach those workers and get them out of that burning home. The state fire marshal is now investigating the cause of that fire.
Tenants at a Holly Hill extended stay motel are scrambling to find a new place to live this morning. They've been evicted. The owners say the units need renovations to meet city code standards. At this point, no trespass signs can be posted on plywood, can be seen on plywood there that has been placed over the doors. The complex is on Ridgewood Avenue. Last week, they were given a notice saying they had to move out by today.
I'm poor, so the new place that's gonna be here is gonna be too expensive for me to even try to look at it. So I don't know what's next.
The realty company says it offered to refund money and help relocate tenants to other properties they have. We asked the city for records of code violations and are still waiting for those.
5:39 on this Friday morning, this Good Friday morning, getting a check of weather on traffic every 10 minutes, Cassie.
Yeah. And outside, it's a little bit cooler, actually a lot of bit cooler, 10 to 15 degrees cooler from yesterday morning. We are waking up to those 50s this morning, 56 in DeLand as well as in Daytona Beach, 52 in Palm Coast, 52 in Ocala. So as we're getting the kiddos ready this morning, we're definitely kind of planning for that cooler start. Maybe the hoodie, the sweatshirt, but later this afternoon, we'll be able to shed that, and we're actually going to be just in t-shirts and maybe some leggings or some shorts today because it's going to be comfortable as we head towards the afternoon. We're looking at mid-70s with a whole lot of sunshine headed our way. You can see the hour-by-hour numbers for you, taking you through downtown Orlando. 61 degrees at 9 o'clock, 60 still just before lunchtime, and eventually we'll pass those 70s after lunchtime, hitting about 72 degrees. Highs today, yes, they're going to be below average, but we're in the 70s for almost all locations, and we do even have some mid and upper 70s. 78 in Kissimmee, 79 in Winter Haven, and getting warmer this weekend, which we'll talk about coming up. 5:40 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Slow go traffic on I-95. This is southbound right at LPGA Boulevard. Crews are working a crash this morning that involves an overturned semi. It's dark, but you can see right there the semi on its side on the right-hand shoulder. It's on the left side of your screen. You have one lane of traffic squeezing by this morning, so those delays are significant. Then our Live and Drive is showing us a crash on Goldenrod and Curry Ford. The vehicles involved are now in the median, so we're no longer seeing impacts to the main travel lanes. On 192 in Siesta Lago, we have crews working a crash through here. All lanes remain open.
Crews just removed a massive creature from a Florida neighborhood.
Very surprised to see something like this happen in the neighborhood.
Coming up, how they found out a nearly 9-foot gator was living in a storm drain.
Oof. And this woman climbed the corporate ladder to become a vice president within Duke Energy. New this morning how she's inspiring other women to join a male-dominated field. It's 5:41.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the law offices of attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
Give me a sound a bird makes.
Who? Who?
This is a bird that's not sure it's a bird.
Family Feud.
Brought to you by New South Windows.
On WFTV tonight, we give you a new look at the day's biggest story.
A deeper, new perspective.
Uncovering the newest breaking information live.
And breaking down new details.
WFTV tonight at 11, only on Channel 9. Traffic updates are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of South Orlando.
Welcome back. It is coming up on 5:45 as we take a live look at Port Canaveral. You see a beautiful ship in the background here. Lots of people still coming in and out from spring break cruises. Our port has been busy. We'll have a full report of your weather ahead with certified meteorologist Cassandra Cripping. Throughout this Women's History Month, we've shared with you some of the women that are leading the way for the next generation of female leaders.
And new this morning, you're about to meet one more. Laquita Gent is a vice president within Duke Energy, and along with making sure your lights stay on, she's lighting the way for other women to enter a male-dominated field. Well, new this morning, Cadbury has named its new Spokes Bunny ahead of Easter, and it comes from right here in Florida. Spokes Bunny is just funny.
But it's not a bunny at all. Get this. Hershey has selected...
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, okay. Hershey has selected Louie, the 2-year-old raccoon from South Florida, to appear in an upcoming commercial. Louie, which I think this raccoon looks like a Louie, was selected in a bracket-style elimination tournament on Instagram. Previous winners include a rescue cat, a frog, and 3 different dogs, but it was finally time for a raccoon to take that title. So congratulations to the Spokes Bunny, Louie.
All things in the name of diversity.
Yeah.
I love it.
What was it holding? Is it a Cadbury egg, I would assume, right?
Yes. I was looking at it, though. Does it,
Like,
is he really holding it, or is it photoshopped in?
I gotta think it's AI.
Right? That's funny. I love the Cadbury bunny. Like
Spokes Bunny is just funny no matter what. To me.
It's been funny for decades. I love it. But we get you outside. Your Easter weekend forecast is going to be beautiful, and it really starts for us today. We step outside early this morning. You can see downtown Orlando. The sun not up yet. We'll get that happening at 7:18. 59 degrees though for us. A lot of 50s, even some low 50s. Ocala, Palm Coast this morning, 52. 50 in Bushnell right now, down 15 degrees or close to 15 degrees in most spots for us early this morning, with a dry start, what will be a very sunny start as we get closer to that 7 o'clock hour when we get that first glow on the horizon. But for your Saturday afternoon, we'll hit 81, 84 degrees on Sunday. Also something to note though, over the holiday weekend, we're waking to 50. So for the sunrise service on Sunday morning, we're going to be out the door to 50s. You may want to have the cardigan or the sweatshirt. But as we take you into next week, we're forecasting temperatures in the 90s before our next front moves through, and the hottest day, that happens on Tuesday. 5:50 is your time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We start this morning with slow-go traffic on I-95. This is southbound at LPGA Boulevard. We have crews investigating a crash involving an overturned semi, so this is going to take some time to clear. You can see the lights there vertically instead of horizontally, showing you that overturned semi. With one lane of traffic moving, you will need to give yourself a lot of extra time going through here. Then we have a new crash on State Road 408. This is westbound. It's that ramp from Paramore. At this point, you're still able to use it. We're not seeing any major delays right here near I-4. Then over to a crash on 192 and Siesta Lago Drive. All lanes still open.
Universal just unveiled exciting news about Epic Universe coming up. What you can expect when you step inside the world of How to Train Your Dragon.
And next, the reaction from neighbors in Southwest Florida after this massive gator was pulled out of a storm drain. It is huge. Oh my God, it's 5:51.
In this morning's GMA First Look, chasing the sun.
I don't know if there are words to describe the level of excitement I have.
Meet the families planning to drive cross-country for the best view possible of the April 8th eclipse.
We've got all the gadgets, hoping to be able to record some cool pictures.
Wesley Myers and her family hitting the road for a 15-hour drive from Florida to Texas to take part.
We wanted to go somewhere that had a decent amount of totality.
And Nazmus Nasir has been planning his trip for 7 years.
I knew the dates of the next 5 or 6 that are happening. I said, yep, I know exactly where we want to go.
Those eclipse weekend flights don't always come cheap. Travel experts say there may still be time to snag a deal, particularly when it comes to hotels. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on the eclipse tourism boom. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
This morning, an Orlando City Commissioner is officially facing criminal charges.
At the top of the 6 o'clock hour, the consequences that Regina Hill could face if she's convicted. It's 5:57.